Welcome everybody back for another episode of Overly Opinionated. And we're here again with the host James. Got my guy D-Man, Joey over there, Big Joey if you're nasty. Got the awesome Kendra and the awesome, not quite as awesome, but still awesome Lucy.
You know what?
I did that. And there you go. And today, we want everybody, first of all, we want to start by saying go like, share, subscribe on YouTube, Overly Opinionated, Overly Opinionated 6 on TikTok. We got the underscore Overly Opinionated on Instagram and the Overly Opinionated on Facebook. Go and follow us on all platforms. And today we got a topic that it'll get a little juicy, but we're not gonna go too deep into it. So D-Man, what we got?
So today, we want to give our audience a chance, our followers a chance to participate in our topic. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about lightly. We're going to talk about what does it mean to be a woman in today's culture and society, our times, versus what did it mean to be a woman in the past. And then we're going to segue into, is a transgender woman a woman? Or is there a difference between what is being identified as a transgender woman and what we identify as a biological woman? So that is going to be our topic today. And like I said, we're going to briefly hit on that, but we want to get our followers a chance to give us some feedback. And then we're going to follow up on this topic and really dig into it. So
okay. So we're starting with, I feel like the base of it is, what is a woman? Like, we can't get into any other topics until we actually identify what a woman is. So I feel like we should start with our resident women. So Kendra, if you don't mind, tell what does it mean to be a woman?
I mean, are we going scientifically?
You're a woman, so we can go scientifically. We can go how you the one, but however you go with it, I'll include everything if you want.
I mean, scientifically, I was born with a double X chromosome, so that makes me genetically a woman. So if we're scientifically, my parts are of a woman. Things that I experience are unique to that only women go through, i.e. menstrual cycles, childbirth, things like that make me a woman. Now, some will argue that what if a woman doesn't have a child? Does not mean she can't have a child. She may have chosen that motherhood is not for her. Mm-hmm. So, something in her system could have gone wrong. Maybe there's ovarian cancer. Maybe she had to have, maybe there was some type of an accident that she couldn't have a child, or maybe God just said, children aren't for you.
But she was still born with the functioning parts to.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So she is still able to technically have children. And if for some reason something happened to where she couldn't have children, medical doctors would figure out why she can't. And if it was a choice that she made as to why she didn't have children, then there would be no reason to run tests as to why she couldn't have them. Is a choice that she made. I don't want to be a mother, period, point blank. I think anything after that is just someone waking up potentially saying, I feel, at some point in my life, I feel like I was born, I'm meant to be a woman. That's how you feel, but I just don't think you can tell me I'm less of a woman or can assign a different pronoun or prefix to me because of what I don't have or because it makes you feel more comfortable about the decision you have chosen to make. I can't, to me, I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot be, but I'm not going to allow you to stand there and tell me what I am and am not.
Makes sense.
That's how I feel. That is my stance. That's how my stance has always been. That's how it will continue to be. I am who I am. I am who God designed me to be, and that's who I'm going to continue to be until the day I die.
Gotcha. Okay. So next resident woman, Lucy.
I think that it is just, you know, pretty basic. I was born with a vagina, and there you go. That's it.
She was born with a coochie, and that'll do. Hey,
Hey.
I don't disagree not one iota with that. That is the simplest form.
Basic.
You know. Okay.
Shout outs to vaginas.
Yeah.
Right.
Big ups to vaginas.
There you go.
And the people attached to them.
Hey.
Joey. So what about you?
My view is okay. So I think it goes beyond sex organs. But I don't think it is a feeling. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there, you know, especially with, you know, this in talk of inclusion and transitioning, I feel like people can just wake up and feel like anything. I woke up today and I feel like a woman. Yeah, if you're, I guess, born a woman, yeah, you would feel like a woman. But I don't think it's as simple as I feel like a woman. Like what does it mean to really be a woman? Um, and I guess that also gets into womanhood. Uh, like Kendra said, XX chromosome, biological. I agree with that 100%. I think that is a component to being a woman. But I think being a woman isn't just a feeling. Because if you feel like you can be a woman today, you can feel like you're not a woman another day. And women don't get the choice to that. Once you're born a woman, you have to go through all the issues and the struggles and the things that are involved with being a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like menstruation, menopause, you know, certain issues that women have are like fibroids and things of that nature. You know, it's, you know, childbirth. You know, there's so much that goes into being a woman, and I don't think it is always just a biological thing, but I feel like it has been dumbed down to some degree to just being like, I feel like a woman, and oh, I'm gonna go get the sex organs and be a woman. And I feel like that discredits what it means to be a woman, what is always meant to be a woman. And it's insulting, I think, to the women that were born women. You know, I think it sort of devalues what it means to be a woman in some instances. So to me, it's very simple. You have to have the XX chromosome, but you have to have lived that life without there is no I'm shifting of genders or anything like that. You have to have just been born a woman and have submitted or committed to that lifestyle because that's what you are. All the other stuff, I guess, you know, that's politically correct, but I don't think that's a woman. And I think if I or any other guy is a guy that would try to say, "Oh, I'm a woman," kind of make it should be insulting to, you know, biological women because you're basically saying, "Oh, anybody could be a woman. Anyone can copy being a woman. It's that easy." And if you are a woman, you should be insulted by that, in my opinion. But that's my view of it.
Okay, so our host left, so I will chime in on my opinion about what is a woman. So as already been mentioned here, I believe I don't think that we need to have this idea of progression or progress to improve upon what has always been considered a woman and or a male. This idea of being progressive to me sometimes actually does not even make sense. Like, I don't think that everything that has been identified as whatever it was historically does not always need change. So historically, women have always been identified as a person is born with the double X chromosome, has a vagina, has a uterus, and is able to give birth, or has the possibility or makeup to give birth, regardless of whether or not they can or cannot. They'll have ovaries, they'll have a uterus, and the capacity to give birth. To me, that is what it means to be a woman. Role doesn't matter, because from culture to culture, country to country, what roles women play in each of them can vary. So we can't identify them strictly by roles, but by the possibility, the ability to give birth, to me, is what identifies what a woman is, because men cannot give birth. So I think it's really that simple. And I think all this other stuff that is going on is just creating unnecessary confusion. Like, I don't want to have to go around trying to figure out, am I calling you a he or her or them or they or all this other stuff? Like, it's ridiculous that we got to walk around with tags with pronouns on them. Like, really? So I think it's that simple. It's that simple.
Okay. So I agree with all y'all. I personally, like I say, I agree with the women are born with the XX chromosome. I roll with Lucy's, very simple. Women have a coochie. That's it. And they have the capability of having children, which means they were born with the parts. Some people have different issues that don't allow them to, but they still have the requisite parts to do it. So you can't, I feel like being a woman has now become a costume. And I feel like women should be very offended by how loosely it's used, because the female experience is something that if you're not a female, you won't understand. As a guy, I'll never understand that I can't go where I want and wear what I want. I'll never understand carrying a kid. I'll never understand a menstrual cycle. So as a man, there's things that is in the female experience that a man will never experience. And for the people that go with the I did air quotes, you just can't see them, but the people that go with the I feel like a woman, that's disingenuous, because no matter how you feel, you can't have the female experience.
Right.
So the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, you don't get none of that. So you get to act out the part of a female without having to go through what being an actual female is. And I don't think that's fair at all. And I mostly talk about it with females because I don't feel like it doesn't really affect male society, because we just kind of, to be honest, I overlook them. But as women, to me, it's different, because again, there's a female experience that like, I don't take it lightly having a mama and having sisters and seeing the life of them, and realizing, okay, it's most of this stuff that they go through, I never understand it because I'm not a woman. And I don't feel like anybody gets to appropriate being a woman just because you feel, if you can feel feminine, that's something I'm totally fine with. There are feminine men, you can feel feminine, but to say I'm a woman, I feel like women should be I'm offended by it as a guy, and I feel like women should be offended by it.
So you feel like the drag queens that aren't fully trans, have not had surgery or anything like that, they dress up as a man, but this is a costume?
It is, and they've turned being a woman into a costume, because I can say I'm a woman and put on, there's more to you, Lucy, than putting on a wig and some hair and some eyeliner and some lashes. So for someone to say, I woke up, I felt like this, and what did I do with this feeling? I put on a wig, some lipstick, and some eyelashes, and now I'm a woman. That's a mockery of what a woman is. And most of my family is women. I have 3 sisters. I grew up in a house with 4 women. So to view it as a mockery to my mama and my sisters and y'all my female friends, that somebody will go put on makeup and a wig and say, hey, I'm a woman, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what you are. No, you feminine, you put on a feminine costume, but that doesn't make you a woman, because you won't, even with that on, you won't experience the female experience. And there is a female experience.
So with me, Lucy, with your question, I think I look at a drag queen and a drag show kind of differently, maybe because I am a performer. Because like me, like if I'm called and they're like, hey, I need you to dress up and perform like this Bollywood costume. Clearly, I'm not from the Middle East, but I'm gonna put that costume on. Many times drag queens are paying homage to like Beyonce and stuff like that. Now, I do get where James is coming from, because I'm gonna take this back to the Medea character, because a lot of times in the Black community, you know, Medea represented a lot of our big mamas. Okay. So sometimes it's like making fun of, or you're portraying a character. So sometimes drag queens are paying homage to like Beyonce or Madonna. Now, I understand where James is coming from, to whereas sometimes you dress and drag as you just dressing up because it's like, oh, I'm a woman.
Yeah, that's
I
the
do
difference.
understand that's the difference. So and I think that's where drag queens from time to time get a bad rap and get a bad reputation that they're trying to imitate. Because sometimes you be surprised who does drag shows on the side. Like you have doctors, attorneys, and lawyers who do that, but they're Monday through Friday, they're fighting your court cases. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with where James is coming from, but I also see the performer aspect, that sometimes drag shows are just men dressing up, paying like I have a friend, she's a huge Selena fan, like very huge. So whenever there's like a Selena contest, or whenever they need someone to come up and pretend or dress and do a Selena tribute, they call him, they call her. And so that's who goes. But it's their way of showing gratitude and respect for everything that Selena has done. So there is a difference. There is I'm just going to dress up and pretend to be a woman. And then there's the I'm dressing up and performing. So I totally understand where James is coming from. And I think sometimes drag queens and drag shows get a bad reputation because there's 2 sides to that coin.
Because like you could see somebody in drag, and you know, if somebody makes a joke and like says something about them being a man, they might be like, honey, I'm a lady.
Right.
You know, and so they're saying, I am this.
Right.
And see, this is why stuff like this, I don't get into the nuances of it. I try to keep it at base level, which is, you're in America. You're allowed to dress how you want to dress. If I want to wake up tomorrow and put on a dress, there's literally nobody that can stop me from doing that. I would stop myself, but no one else could stop me from doing it if that's what I wanted to do. To me, that isn't my issue. I don't have the issue with what the issue becomes when it has went from Tyler Perry being everybody big mama to Martin being big mama to, you know, some of the online comedians, that the guys that put on a wig and imitate women. That's imitation, flattery, that's art. When you start saying I'm a woman,
right,
that's when it loses the art, any of that, and it just go. That's when I look at it as the mockery of women. If you just dress like a woman and you're not over here claiming, because if your friend that goes and dresses like Selena, she don't go there under the guise of I'm Selena.
Right.
So that's not offensive to anybody. She's just, there's a difference. But when you're saying I'm a woman, now it's beyond any form of artwork or anything. It's a delusion. And it's, again, I look at it as a mockery. Like, that's what you're doing now. You're mocking what a female is, because you're not that, and you're not doing it under the stance of art or flattery or entertainment. This is how you feel. You feel like you are this.
Okay, well, I think this is a good time to go into the transgender, are they women as well question. Like, is a transgender woman a woman? Now, the surgery, I have no idea how that works. I think I tried to watch a video one time, but there's just some things I just choose not to care about, and this is one of them. I just can't get my marbles all messed up and around about it. I feel like if you get surgery and you want to be a woman, I don't care. I just don't.
But let me ask you, did you get surgery to get your coochie? That's what I'm saying. So there's no surgery that can create you an artificial, because
that's what I thought was happening. Like, when they go through have surgery or whatever,
they change the aesthetics of it. The parts in the inside that you have, they can't create those parts. They can't create a uterus. They can't.
So again, it goes back to what we talked about from the beginning about what truly identifies a woman. The double X chromosome, uterus, ovaries.
Okay, so
you cannot remake that. But what is happening in the transgender transitioning is they take on, just like James said, the outside aesthetics of what identifies a woman. So they can make up what looks like a vagina, but they don't have a uterus. There's no uterus, there's no ovaries or whatever. So a woman is more than just whether or not she has a vagina, which is why I think it was very important, one, that Kendra had pointed out from the beginning, double X, and that we went on to also mention uterus and ovary, because if we stayed there at vagina, if we only pointed at vagina, then a person transitioning and say, hey, I got a vagina, could literally make the argument that, okay, see, I'm a woman now because a woman has a vagina and I have a vagina. So it goes beyond that. It's not just the outward aesthetics of what makes you a woman. What I find so crazy about it is, if it comes down to just feeling, then can't everybody say that whatever they feel like on a given day is what they are? So can we leave it at, is it okay to go beyond gender? Can I just, as a Black man, say, you know what, I'm white, I feel white today, and I can be considered white, and can walk in any place and be mad if someone refers to me as black because I'm white. As a matter of fact, I can't think of the lady's name, but remember there was about 10 years ago, there was a woman who was working for the NAACP.
Yes, I know.
Rachel Dolezal.
White woman, but she identified as black. But then they all, oh my gosh,
Rachel Dolezal.
What's her name?
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah. So why is that wrong for her to do that? Based on, I mean, she felt like she was. So why can't she just be considered black then? Like, but everybody had a fit over that. So I'm like, if we're going to base things on feelings, we should be able to go across the board with it. And it's not, I'm not trying to be disingenuous about those individuals' feelings. Their sexual dysphoria. I know that is a term that can be considered, offensive to some, because they would like to believe, well, I'm not experiencing dysphoria. I really believe that I'm a woman. But does that mean that because you really believe that you are, that everybody else outside should actually believe that you are? And again, I go back to the black and white thing. Then I can tell everybody, no, I really believe I am white. So I should be able to sign everything as a white person and take on all the privileges of a white person. So Yeah, I just don't buy into this feeling thing. And then with that said, think culturally. If just by saying I feel like I'm a female means I should be treated as a female, then does that also mean that if a transgender person, trans woman, has now made the transition, she's in an argument with another female, they get into a fight and she smacks the crap out of that woman, right? Is that now okay because she done transitioned over to being a woman? Because the argument is that men should not hit women because men are stronger than women, right? So that's kind of thing, respect women, blah, blah, blah. So now if I'm a man and I decide today, I feel like I'm a woman, I made that suggestion, I made that decision, I feel like I'm a woman today. I now go outside, see a woman and smack the crap out of her. Is that okay? Because I feel like I'm a woman, so it should be okay, right? If another woman hits another woman, that's okay, right? So I'm saying.
I think my issue with it comes in to be okay, and I agree with everything that everybody has said. What to what extent are we going to keep going down this pathway? Like to the Rachel Dolezal point, she's what transracial. So what if I decide one day I want to be trans deity? What if I feel like I'm a god? Hey, I'm a god. I got diplomatic immunity. Y'all can't touch me. I turn water wine. I feel like Jesus. Okay. What if that like to what extent? Okay, what if I say I'm trans child? Now, do I forever get to walk around? Now I can go around kindergartners and stuff, be like one of some of these sickos out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, to what extent does transitioning have a limit? Because you're going to start getting to a point where it's like, okay, well, I identify as this, so I also get the powers and things that are associated with this. So what if I don't know, let's say, what if I decide to identify as a woman and now I want to vote on women's rights as a woman. I want to be able to dictate what the conversation about women are or women is. Okay, what if I think, okay, uh, we don't need to have abortions anymore, but I'm a woman now, so you can't say, oh, that's misogynistic or this is a man. No, now I'm a woman, and I get to determine what biological women get to have as their rules or their laws of things.
Mm-hmm.
It opens up a can of worms that I don't think people are ready for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great.
I don't and again I think it cheapens the woman experience, man. Like it's and I'll say this: I went to college. I had a transgender uh, man in my classroom. Used to come in all the time. Had on dresses. This is like a 56-year-old middle-aged bald dude, but he identified as a woman. And it I get it, free country. I'm not mad that you choose to wear a dress to do all that, but I don't want that infringed upon me where I have to refer to you as a woman. My
Exactly.
freedom of speech to be offended. And I'll say this: I'm a veteran. I fought for the rights of this country, so I'm gonna be pro freedom of speech. I'm gonna be pro guns. That's just what I am. I don't want someone being able to tell me what I can and cannot say.
Right.
I do not want my right to be able to, the same way you want a right to say whatever you want to speak out about whatever you want. I want to be able to call your bullshit out.
Right.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep it a buck.
Right.
So with this transgender thing, look, I must reiterate. I don't have an issue if you trans. If you come up to me, hey, what's up? I'm such cool. All right, cool. I'll dap you up, whatever. Cool.
Right.
Ain't no problem with you. But when we start getting into other realms of things outside of you're transitioning to being a woman or a man or whatever, because I want to acknowledge that there are, the other way, because we're talking about trans women here. There are other transitions being made. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care about that in a nutshell. Just let's keep it at just that. If you feel that way, let's keep it at that and stay at that. Let's not try to
Right.
spread this to other things because I
Right.
don't want to see somebody talking about, oh, I feel like I transitioned as a 60-year-old man. I transitioned. I feel like a 5-year-old girl. And now you got this kid going to school with your daughter and is able to go use their bathroom with them. Like that to me is that's where the line needs to get drawn.
Right, right. So, and I agree with you, Joey. It's like, and I think most people do not have a problem with individuals wanting to transition or do whatever it is that they want to do. If you want to be a female, if you want to dress, if you want to dress in drag, if you want to look like a man and you're a woman, you want to wear a beard, fine, do whatever you want. The problem is when what you do now it causes everything outside of you to have to change in order to accommodate your changes. That's when I think it's wrong. It shouldn't be, well, I'm transitioning, I believe I'm this and I'm that, so now everything around me needs to change to make me feel comfortable, so all the rest of you have to change. That to me is when things are wrong. It should be, okay, I'm transitioning, this is who I want to be. Okay, fine, you can do that, and I get to be who I am, and we get, we get along. But now I got to change because you change. Now I got to come up with all these different understandings of pronouns and when to use them, and to me that's when I have a problem with it.
Okay, let me say something about that. So I had a coworker that I met as a woman, and I figured there might have been like I don't know, maybe I thought she just liked women. I guess was, but sweetest individual. I mean, just opened her heart and arms to me, and just was an amazing person. And so as time went on, we noticed that there was a name change. I helped like with the name change, how to spell it and all that. But I would say let's say her name was Janet. I met you as Janet. Janet is what I know. So the new name is John. Okay. This person started taking hormones. So I could see facial hair coming in. I see you becoming someone different right in front of my eyes. But if I want to say something to you real fast, I'm gonna be like, Janet, or hey, Janet, because it hadn't hit me to say John. And so even though the name is changed on the computer, clients are using the new name, and every time I would say the wrong name, I would apologize and be like, I'm gonna get it. And that's what you're saying, D-Man. Like, you gonna have to, if you know the person, like I knew her, and she wanted to be like gender fluid. That's what she was saying. Now, I love her, who she is, whatever, and whoever she becomes, I will, because she's great or he's great. But I was messing up and felt really bad because this is what this person wanted. And I was like, oh, Lord, every time I said the wrong name, Janet, oh my God, Janet, oh, you know what? I'm going to just stop. I'm going to tap you on your shoulder because I am this. But it was happening in front of me. And I was like, this is my first time experiencing something like this. I know it happens, but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the facial hair. I don't know what else is going to change. I don't want to dig into all her business and all that. But it just felt like this is a friend and somebody I care about. And so I wanted to do what she wanted or what he wanted. I wanted to do that because it was so important to them. I probably should be saying them. And the pronouns and all, it's been tough for me.
So Lucy, the issue I have with that is what you're saying. And the reason I have issue with it is because outside of that being someone that you know and care about, you wouldn't want the pressure of having to know what to call a person, because basically what it's turning into is it's forcing people to dispel reality for someone else's feelings. So in reality, that's Janet, but you're being forced to dispel what is true in reality for you, for everyone, for that one person's feelings. When back in the day, it was the opposite of it. People's feelings were based on, so there was a standard, and we've gotten into what I call the acceptance culture, which is everything is accepted, give it a name, give it a cause, and force people to accept it. And I'm with Joey with the freedom of speech, but to me, I feel like it goes farther than that, because you can't force me to dispel reality to make you feel good. I'm sorry, I just won't do it. I've worked with one transgender before, and me and him, because I'm gonna call him a him. I know he's a him, that's a guy. And we actually had a conversation, and I told him, I have nothing against you. You're a grown man. You know, whatever you choose to do, you have the right to do, but you don't have the right to tell me that my reality is not reality because it doesn't make you feel, it doesn't fit in your reality, because there is no your reality.
Yeah, like if I see a man, I'm gonna want to say him.
Right.
And you should, because that's reality. And that's what I'm saying. The pressure now is put upon us as people in a society to ignore
Just and
the truth.
learn something that we ain't been seeing.
Yeah. Ignore the
I want to throw
truth
something in
to
here.
make one person feel good. And I feel like that's, but we've gotten so far down the rabbit hole of the individual rebellious society that one individual's feeling outweighs the whole, the majority. So the majority should fit into the one, instead of, like I say, back in the day it was flipped, and one person's individual feelings would have to go with the majority. But now it's, if I feel this way, you other 70 million people have to go with my reality.
Yeah,
Right.
it's really
You
difficult.
throw out the word offended, everybody else has to change. I'm offended, so I need all of you guys to change your realities in the way you think about whatever it is, because now I'm offended. So, my offense counts more than everybody else's. My individual opinion and offense
I
is
think
more
the
important than everybody else.
LGBTQ, all that need to give the regular people some grace.
Let me let me let me throw something in here real quick. Would you consider a hermaphrodite, and I hope I said that right?
Mhm.
Would you consider that someone that's like in transition, or would you consider that an anomaly or a special case?
What
An
even
anomaly.
is
It's an anomaly.
It's
Because it's like such a small percent.
They're born with both parts, aren't they?
yes, they're
Yes.
born with
so the
both
coochie is on
parts.
top of the penis or the penis is on top of the cat? What?
It's
Hey,
either
hey,
way.
look, I
It's
don't
either
know
way.
all of that. Like that, I ain't the person to ask about that. But I think since we're having this conversation about what makes a woman, I think we'd be remiss not to include that part of the conversation, because that's a special case, is it
Well,
not?
I want to speak a little bit on it. It's not like I'm expert on it or whatever, but just some stuff that I read. A hermaphrodite they can have both parts, but they'll tend to have a tendency of being more one
One
than
than
the
the other.
other. So they may, like, it could be a female that has an appendages that could be considered a penis, but they really,
And she still has the XX chromosome.
yeah, possibly, or well, I don't know. I think they have.
I think that I'm almost 100% sure that they still have the same, because they're, if you're a boy with the hermaphrodite parts, you're still the XY chromosome. You just have the parts. If you're a girl, you're still the XX. You just have the part.
Right. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, their genitalia it doesn't function, as well as,
It doesn't develop.
right, exactly.
All that.
So
You're not
it's a
able to
little bit
engage in
different.
both aspects of your sexuality.
Nah.
Like you,
Exactly.
Okay, so I looked it up,
Thank you.
and so there's a couple of like questions about it. So it says they can have both male and female sex organs and other sexual characteristics, either abnormally or as the natural condition. Then another one says they can have both working parts of the male and female reproductive system. However, only simultaneous hermaphrodites can have both reproductive system at the same time. So I guess there's different types of hermaphrodites.
I'd just be making anything.
But I've seen a case where, like, when the child was delivered, doctors told parents and parents made the decision.
right?
And when the child got older, like say the mom was like, well, I've always wanted a girl, so she's a girl.
Yeah.
But when the child got older, the child exhibited masculine parts, like was more masculine, and turned out that the child actually, I guess, maybe like had demonstrated maybe like more XY chromosomes. And then the child was kind of like stuck, like, what do I do?
I don't want that kind of pressure on me as a parent. I'm gonna leave that baby at the hospital.
Right.
And then they can figure that out for me
some
and then
parents,
give it to me.
The baby
then
get
some
older,
parents
don't do it
kinda just-
immediately.
Yeah.
and then some parents kind of just like,
Let the child
it's
grow
just
up.
going to be like our biggest secret, and until the child got old enough. But then I guess
Right.
maybe when the child got school age, it was like, you're not going to take like PE because now that means you have to change in front of kids. So I guess there's different types of hermaphrodites that you have to kind of see which version
The
you get.
pictures I'm looking at got a cootie right here and a peenie right here. But right
But
beside
it's
and
a
then-
very
Well,
rare.
very, very rare.
and then one picture you got the cootie on the top and the peen on the bottom.
It's
Because
very
then
rare.
some people also say, well, maybe it was because there were like a conjoined twin and one died
One, yep, got
in the
absorbed back
womb
into the
and they
other,
kind of
yep.
merged. So it's,
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's in the
I'm not a
fetus
doctor,
stage
so
when it
don't quote me.
happens. Yeah, but if it happened to me with a kid, I feel like as a doctor, that's your responsibility to tell me what path we finna take this child on.
No, I'm not leaving.
You know, I'm not leaving the hospital and you be like, hey, at some point in time, you got to make a decision whether it's a boy or girl. I'm like, no, that's your job, sir. You finna tell me that now, and we're gonna walk that path out this door. But we not finna leave out of here and tell me later on in life I gotta figure that out for
I'll post these pictures in the chat.
Oh my God,
But
don't do it.
But you know what? On that note,
Don't do
you
that.
guys can let us know.
Gonna
You guys can
dominate the
let us know what
conversation.
you think.
You're
Yeah,
right.
You know,
definitely.
you guys, this is your time to come in now and let us know, like, hey, do you consider hermaphrodite, a woman, or how do you go about that? Let us know how you feel about transgenderism. Let us know what you think a woman is. After all, this is, Mother's Day month, so make sure we also say Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. We love y'all.
Yes,
We
happy
appreciate
Mother
y'all.
Day.
Happy
You
Mother's
know,
Day, mama.
Yeah, we
Happy Mother's Day.
definitely appreciate all the things you have done, the sacrifices you have made, especially, those things should not go unmentioned. Um, but I think that pretty much wraps it up for us today.
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay. So again, feel like this was another fine episode of Overly Opinionated. We got through it rather quick because we're trying to get more fan interaction. So we want more of your opinions on this before we dive deeper into it. Again, go and like and share and subscribe and comment to our YouTube Overly Opinionated, _overly opinionated on Instagram, the Overly Opinionated 6 on TikTok, Overly Opinionated on Facebook. And you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back next time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Yep.
Love y'all.
Love you.